It's about that time. Today we can make it to the one. Someday, boys, we're gonna make it out of this subway. But today is not the day. We're out here. Okay, and shout outs to everybody joining us on Restream. I took a shower, put on a clean shirt, but didn't shave. But yeah, it's almost like having a real job again. Good God Almighty. That's not a dry cough, by the way. I don't think I have that old Rona. But we'll see. Now, speaking of which, I just heard that this fucking NAD is apparently good at fighting the Rona, but it's just one study that they saw that did it. But apparently, that old virus is disrupting the NAD and ATP chains or something like that, and having just a shit ton of NAD in your body for no reason, which would track, because I've definitely been exposed to this shit a ton, and I haven't felt like many ill effects. But yeah, if that is the case, and We Eatin' Kid saved my life with his recommendation, I think I'll never stop lolling that this crazy fucking immortality supplement that all these nerds on IRC are taking might have saved our goddamn lives. All right, let me see what looks like. Okay, it looks like everything is fucking live here. So much as I know readers are loath for me to do this, I feel we should read through our previous chapter again. We don't have to get so in depth, but it's a new chapter, and it probably needs a second pass. So, and then we have a second half of this chapter that we didn't get to the previous time. So this is chapter 1/2. Here's to feeling good all the time. A brace of vodka to make it through the daily harangue from the patrol supervisor. 2 beers at lunch that don't even draw a dirty look from Carl anymore. A blurry bevy of nips from the half pint of wild turkey concealed under his Kevlar whenever his partner's out of sight. It all adds up. It's a 12-hour shift, and Officer Kaiser Duchance has been sizzling his way from over-easy to hard-boiled all night long. Now it's 1 a.m., 2 hours to go. His partner, Carl Mason, is bleary behind the wheel of the patrol car. Carl's been logged for every call. The dynamic duo just delivered one of their regulars to central lockup, a fake Buddhist priest named Zak Zyz, who thrusts prayer beads into the hands of tourists and won't leave them alone until they give him money. It's the 5th time they've popped him. Kaiser slouches in shotgun, telling himself for the 100th time that this has to be the last. He's had enough ex-wives to know everyone has a breaking point, even Carl the coward. Someday, young Carl is going to muster his courage and scurry up to the patrol supervisor and request reassignment. Let's see. Dynamic duo. Now, because like it's like this little weird half tense where you're talking about something that just fucking happened literally this instant. Like this is what happened prior to it's like within the action of the scene. Like this is the first it's 1 a.m. They just did this. And it's the 5th time that they popped him, and they're coming off of it right here. So I think you don't get a point for that had. Let's see. Half tenses. You know what I mean? It's like it's halfway between present and past, and it's close enough to present that we don't do the had. That's my belief. An editor may disagree. So Kaiser slouches in shotgun, telling himself for the 100th time this has to be the last. Yeah. Someday, young Carl is going to muster his courage and scurry up to the patrol supervisor to request reassignment. Okay. To request. So we do to there instead of and. Just for diction purposes, for like sentence flow. Well, shout outs to Pinwheeling. Woo! It's a fucking party on OSX. It's an OSX party. I wonder what part of this machine is dying. Probably just a permissions thing. Oh no, it's still fucking up. Kaiser knows exactly how it will go down. The same thing happened to him in the army. Well, we saved this not too long ago. But yeah, it would be a sad thing if this machine just fucking died on the air. Command S beckons. Yeah, we haven't actually... Well, I guess we made like 2 changes since this happened. I don't know what his problem is. Let's see. No. Yeah, it's just pages there. So I think our Wi-Fi is good. We got full power. Do we have to fucking... Yeah, I think we have to hard kill it. That's a bummer. Let's get back in there. Ignore. So you can see the... oh, wow. It gets right back to where we ought to be. Did it save the... It's the 5th time they popped him. No, it didn't save any changes that we made. Maybe Pages really doesn't like the to instead of and there. It's going to have to suck it up. That's staying. Kaiser knows exactly how it will go down. The same thing happened to him in the army. That'll be the day the supervisor looks around his squad and sees there's not a single man there that won't quit on the spot if he saddles them with Kaiser. All the missed days, the blown quotas, the mysterious way that all of Kaiser's citations are in Carl's handwriting, it'll all hit the bowl at once. The department will flush Kaiser right onto the street with no savings and no severance. And then what? Then he keeps patrolling, only it'll be for corners to panhandle on and dry places to sleep. One more homeless veteran. Kaiser Duchance's resume is just two things: 89D explosive ordnance disposal and NYC patrolman. No matter how good you are at defusing roadside bombs and domestic disputes, they won't let you do either if you're drunk. 30 days tops before his former colleagues find him knifed in a doorway by someone he can't even remember arresting. That's why this has to be the last time. Kaiser's got to cut back, slow and easy. Tapering, that's the ticket. Starting tomorrow. Always tomorrow. For now, the lights of Canal Street are smearing into an orange neon blur, glittering in the mist beating on every surface. God damn, Flem. What are you doing to me? It's wretched out there and it's warm in the car. Every time Kaiser blinks, his lids stay shut a moment longer. Every time Kaiser blinks, his eyelids stay shut a moment longer. An unwelcome awareness of the Earth's rotation is creeping in at the seams. He needs air. Pull over. I see something, Kaiser orders. There's an instant of hesitation before the wheels turns. Carl's closer to snapping than Kaiser thought. What Kaiser actually saw was an opportunity to puke between two parked cars instead of inside of the cruiser. But by some cruel fluke, there's actually a disturbance in progress. It's not a cruel fluke. Yeah, that's a little too much the narrator bleeding into our story right there. Yeah, that's better. But just his luck. There's actually a disturbance in progress. There's a disturbance in progress up the block. People are shouting, but Kaiser can't make them out. At first, he thinks he's just dead drunk. He is, but his eyes have also teared up. There's a sharp chemical stink in the air. It smells like nail polish removal. Kaiser shakes his head and blinks his eyes rapidly. When they clear, he sees a youth with thick glasses and curly red hair leaned against a steel shutter. The kid's glasses are misted up and he's peering over the tops. His eyes are heavy-lidded and red. Probably ganja. Kaiser looks him up and down and spots guilty blotches of... Probably ganja. Kaiser looks him up and down. He spots guilty blotches of silver spray paint on the suspect's hands. Bingo. Probable cause. Kaiser steps forward to grab the kid, but someone screams behind him, so loud his ears ring. Forgetting the vandal. It is cruel. He just wanted to throw... I know, but cruel's a little too far. What happens next is cruel. So here we had this note where somebody was saying it should be like a high-pitched scream or whatever, but I think just a woman's scream is enough to like carry it across, and I don't think that we need to describe exactly what it sounds like just yet, as we go into it pretty deep later on. Forgetting the vandal, Kaiser wheels towards the sound, and the world keeps spinning, like his brain is sloshing in his skull. Ugh, who has not had them fucking spins and had to deal with this? Mm. When the spins subside, Kaiser sees a ring of men have gathered around a woman. She's backed against a sodden shanty made from cardboard boxes and shipping pallets. Get it out of me, the woman screams. So this is, any woman who's reading it right here is like, oh shit, she's getting raped. Which I think we have to be aware of. Oh, hold on. Do I have to ban this fucking idiot? Hold on. I think I can do it from across the room. No, that's not an idiot. Shout out to Wireless Mice, expanding our banning technology by fucking meters. Fuck. What the hell was wrong with my throat? I hope it ain't that old Rona. But feels more like allergies to me. Because I don't have no fever, and I can still taste this delicious cold brew, so not going the way of the vapor. Get it out of me, she screams. Fuck you, Otto. That's not. You do not capitalize the word after a quote. Her voice rings in Kaiser's head like she's shouting. Yeah, so that's why I did that. The woman's voice rings in Kaiser's head like she's shouting directly into his ear. He tries to draw his gun, but it won't release from the holster. He's forgotten the strap. Wrenching his pistol free, Kaiser takes a two-handed stance. Wrenching his pistol free, Kaiser takes a yeah, it is autocorrect. Just deciding that quotes. Yeah, it's just a spot where I guess the majority of the time it would be right if you're not writing fiction, but in fiction, usually if there are quotes, then often the sentence will continue at the same time, and it's just Pages isn't smart enough to tell what's what and who's who. Yeah, it's one of those things where I think it's caused me more problems than it's saved me, but I could be wrong. Wrenching his pistol free, Kaiser points it at the circle of men and advances. Let's... Yeah, right for anything not. I agree. Generally, like in nonfiction, you almost never have a sentence that continues with a quote, unless it's like a comparison between many. Whatever. We're in the weeds. He tries to draw his gun, but it won't release from the holster. He's forgotten the strap. Wrenching his 9mm free. Yeah. Wrenching his pistol. Pisodal. Sounds like a fucking Greek name for your penis. My pisodal. Kaiser points it at the circle of men and advances. So I would kind of like to I'd kind of like to add like an aside about how fucking drunk he is right here. He's way too deep in the bag for this, but he wrenches the pistol free and advances on the circle of men. Cool. I wanted to have, because he's fucked up, man. This guy's been drinking all goddamn day. He's probably uh, if life were charitable, he's like right on the border of blackout drunk here. NYPD, hands up. Hey, just shout us to you and me here, Spaethiwa, the ones editing it, who I think both of us have ample research on what it's like to get blackout drunk. Woof. Woof. That's a rough one. Yeah, we don't need to do any additional fucking polling to figure out what this is all about. Mm. Yeah. And I'm sure that some people will claim that there's a woman to blame, but I know it's my own damn fault. God, I wonder if Jimmy Buffett is still fucking alive somehow. Hope not. No, no, I'm sure he's a wonderful man. But yeah, I had to hear those fucking tapes all the time growing up. Good God. NYPD, hands up, Kaiser shouts, ready to let all 15 fly, but something isn't right. The men aren't swarming in on the woman. They're on the back foot. Cool. Yeah, so this track's a little bit better. NYPD, hands up, Kaiser shouts, ready to let all 15 fly, but something isn't right. The men aren't swarming in on the woman. They're not attacking her. They're afraid of her. Life is punctuated by lost time from getting drunk out of my mind. Every major turning point has one of those woke up not knowing how I get there, immediately preceding and following. Do you think that that's God just doing a fade to black on each chapter, right? When do I get? I usually start getting relatively drinky when something in my life is bothering me, and it's usually something that I've done that I don't like, right? And I'm just, or something that real painful that's happened, and I'm just like, I need distance from this fucking situation. And that's what, like, a lot of drinking is just like buying some temporary distance from yourself. And I guess if you just keep it up for like a long enough time, you just get further and further away. Shout outs to Dwayne. But I mean, we gotta watch our shit or we'll be Dwayne ourselves someday. The closest man has his palms up. The closest man has his back to Kaiser. His palms are held up as he pleads with the woman. Kaiser sees a flash of silver glinting in the streetlight. In the streetlights. The man hops backward, retreating from her knife. Get it out of me! The woman's voice is impossibly loud. Her voice is impossibly loud. Kaiser can feel it in his guts like he's standing too close to a subwoofer. I think most of the major turning points of my life are usually just punctuated by me leaving everybody else and going on like a long trip on my own. Like for a while it was like hitchhiking. For a bit it was like going on like long journeys on my motorcycle or going to Europe. Just all the big changes have had like traveling associated with them more so than the drinking. Like I don't see drinking as like a fantastically huge feature of my life, but definitely going on like trips on my own is like one of my ways of coping with like a big change that I just didn't want to fucking happen. Oh, speaking of which, I had a bunch of I had a bunch of ideas for Rapasaurus. Fucking last night as I was like tossing and turning, lying awake in bed. Some pretty interesting ones. One about like making up sort of like an encounter chart that's 78 by 78 by 78 that just specifies what like the draw of 3 cards does, and basically the idea was like your first one establishes the room, the second one establishes one of 78 possible threats, and then the third one is a modifier that changes sort of the tenor or the environment. So place, threat, wild card, basically. Whew. So yeah, I thought we would just map like a lot of threats to some of the existing characters within the Rapasaurus. Like what is it? Like 15. The devil is just Vadabo, etc. And then what was the other idea? The other idea was that the equipment in it would be like a rag doll with 5 slots. And one of those, like, and they would, it would be like both somebody's equipment and their like pertinent statistics. And we'll get into that whole thing in a little bit. Sorry for everybody who is not actively involved in the design of this video game, because that shit made no sense. But okay, so I think that's an improvement too. Her voice is impossibly loud. Kaiser can feel it in his guts like he's standing too close to a subwoofer. Circle of Men has noticed. Wait, do you buy that? Like, does anybody buy that fucking line? That seems a little bit of a stretch to me. Yeah, so didn't think the threat would also be a card drawn. So we would just call it like encounter or something like that. Like, let's say that we're going to have some 78 different potential encounters in the first wave of Rapasaurus. So, but yeah, easy to modify. Very cool. Yeah, I don't know how far along you are on that, but I am like continuing in my like mental development of it's so slow. I just never like actually sit down and try to play this fucking game. All that I ever do is like swarm with ideas of it and like jot them down in notes and everything. And I've never like actually sat down and made like a consolidated thing. One thing I did do is I ordered an iPad, because my theory is that when we actually run this gaming stream, I'll draw out a lot of the stuff on the iPad there, and like do like some sketching and so forth. I wonder if there's like a decent collaborative sketching app for the iPad where people can draw shit too. But yeah, like I'm gonna have to get a little bit more into drawing and sketching. Maybe I'll do a course or something whilst I have the time, because I'm not a top-notch artiste or whatever there, but that's just something where like definitely being a GM and just sort of rapidly drawing figures and stuff like that would be super useful. So anyhow, that should come by like Sunday or something like that. I'm excited about that one. I've wanted one for a while, and then finally I just like was like, huh, do I need a sous vide? And then like I got a sous vide, and I'm like, click, 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 click. So that's the danger of being bored and slightly bummed out and at your house and everything. You just buy shit. Okay, so Spaethiwa thought the threats would be attached to rooms, and the dungeon and map would have a randomized series of rooms. So every room is going to have like that default encounter associated with it, right? Let's think back to Rapasaurus. Like Baerolith is usually going to be in Baerolith's room. But if you think about what happened in the storyline of Rapasaurus, everything came apart and everybody started moving around to different rooms. So, like, there are many sequences where you'll like encounter glass in Baerolith's room or a wrath just popping up all over the fucking dungeon, and Vidabo is fucking everywhere. So the threats aren't like locked into one particular room in my conception of it. And it's a little bit easier if people just really need to sort of figure out like 78 different rooms and 78 different monsters. And then the thing that keeps it fresh and interesting is the modifiers. But I digress. Like I don't think that's important at this time. I think editing is important. Now Kaiser can see her clearly. The woman's face is contorted with agony and her pupils are shrunken to pinpoints. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it later there. Like whatever, like the main thing that you're working on right now, I'm sure, is like that card engine or whatever, and that's not going to change. It's basically just ripping off Dream Quest. But I've like thought about ways that I can represent that with like physical cards and so forth doing the stream. One of the big things that I'm like interested with it is where the fuck am I going to find a steady supply of players that just want to show up and like play like a 30 to 60 minute gaming stream. Rule set editor. All right. Now, Kaiser, see, I gotta stop. Because I'm like very interested in working on that, and it's distracting me from what we got to do. We want to get to at least page 30 here. My goal is to have 10 pages a day, and there's a second part of this that we really need to edit. Now, Kaiser can see her clearly. So I thought here about giving it like a brand name. It's not your fucking fault. It's my fault for not having willpower. Now Kaiser can see her clearly. The filthy clothes that were once fine. Now Kaiser can see her clearly. Matted hair, filthy clothes that were once fine, a bloody chef's knife clasped in her. Uh, Now Kaiser can see her clearly. Long black hair that's gone matted and wild. Filthy clothes that were once fine. A bloody 8-inch chef's knife. 8-inch is hyphenate. A bloody 8-inch chef's knife clasped in her hand. Now Kaiser can see the screaming woman clearly. Long black hair that's gone matted and wild. Filthy clothes that were once fine. And a bloody 8-inch chef knife. Yeah, I want something better than clasped in her hand. And a bloody 8-inch chef's knife pointed right at him. Her face is contorted with agony, and her pupils are shrunken to pinpoints. She looks Filipino or Puerto Rican. It's hard to tell because she's screaming her lungs out. Maybe she's half and half. Maybe she's half and half, one of those inscrutable lower Manhattan blends where no matter what background you assume, they'll get mad at you. One of these guys must have guessed wrong. Hands up. Drop the knife, Kaiser bellows. Kaiser demands, but she doesn't listen. There's a crescent of blood on the round belly of her shirt. On the round belly of her silk blouse. She must have gotten stabbed. She must have gotten stabbed by one of the men. Everything is happening too fast, hurtling forward on greased rail. Everything is happening too fast. Hurtling forward on greased rails, and Kaiser's pickled brain can't keep up. Carl's shouting behind him, but Kaiser can't make him out. And he can't turn his back on this mad woman. He's paralyzed by her fevered glare. From the corner of his eye, Kaiser sees Carl advancing with his gun drawn. Carl's barking orders at the woman, telling her to drop the knife, but Kaiser knows it's begging her to drop the knife, but Kaiser knows it's no use. But Kaiser already knows it's no use. There's no one in there. The madwoman raises the knife high over her head and charges at Kaiser, shouting, "Get it out." Her voice carries. Yeah, let's take that. The madwoman's voice carries. Blocks away, people are stopping in their tracks and wincing, an involuntary hunch in their shoulders. "20 stories up from the street, behind heavy drapes and quadruple-paned windows, a man's eyes flick open, his body frozen with terror. Hmm. Okay, so let's, the madwoman's voice carries. Blocks away, people are stopping in their tracks and wincing, an involuntary hunch in their shoulders. Cars are slamming their brakes. Everyone is turning towards the sound. 20 stories up, behind heavy drapes and quadruple-paned windows, a man's eyes flick open, his body rigid with terror. Her scream is not a sound a human being can make. The scream is not a sound a human being can make. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah. I think that's real clunky. So 20 stories up, his body rigid with terror. The sound isn't something a human being can produce, and everyone who hears it feels their guts loosen with terror. Okay, I like that. Yeah, because yeah, like that gets a little bit into what's happening with this lady. Let's increase the volume of our screen. Okay. Yeah, I haven't given out any points today, and I'm going to give a point for that because I do think Louder and Louder is pretty fucking weak. So boom, 19 edits for young Spathiwa. All right, what do we got here? The madwoman's scream gets louder every time. Kaiser feels like it's about to split open his skull. Yo, this isn't about like a fair competition at the time of. This is about the long haul, like how many edits that you can get in over the entirety of this process. And if he's not here to score, it's his own motherfucking fault. Mm. Brakes screech, cars skid to stop. Brakes screech, cars skid on the wet asphalt, and heads swivel towards the awful sound. 20 stories up, behind heavy drapes and quadruple pane windows, a man's eyes flick open, his body rigid with fright. It's not a sound a human being can make, and everyone who hears it knows. Boom. Loosen with terror. All right, that's better. Blam! So, one of the things that we're going to do in the story is, because this is, when all is said and done, this is a it's a superhero novel. So we are. Oh, I thought this was like cut off by the camera, but that's actually just the way it looks. That's weird. Because it's a superhero novel, we'll have some of these onomatopoeias in there. The 9mm retort seems almost puny against her shriek. The 9mm, the madwoman's. The madwoman is so close, Kaiser can. Yeah, let's not have the contraction there. The madwoman is so close, Kaiser can see the muzzle flash in her eyes. Her face whips to the side in a spray of blood, and then she crashes to the sidewalk. Her arms and legs spasm with the knife. The knife remains locked in her grip. A dark red hole above her eyes is flowing like a tap. Blood is pooling behind her so quickly. So Spathywah says, I like these qualitative changes. Yeah, I really, I knew that we were having like a difficult edit yesterday, and I just felt like we had a lot of room for improvement here. Let's take a look at that. Oh yeah. Oh, that's much better actually. Yeah, that's a huge edit right there. Just not having the comma. Her face whips to the side in a spray of blood as she crashes to the wet concrete. So much better. Like that's almost a 2-point edit right there, because I think it's a huge improvement, but it's not. You're almost there. On the sidewalk, her arms and legs spasm. Down, her arms and legs spasm. The knife is still locked in her grip. A dark red hole above her eye is flowing like a tap. From the blood pooling behind her, Kaiser knows the bullet has gone through. No. No, Kaiser mouths. The Glock slips from his hand. A frail wisp of blue smoke spirals from the barrel and dissipates the instant the gun clacks against the concrete. Boom. Cool. So we wanted to use sidewalk, and we had to make like a few changes earlier. She's down. Her arms and legs are spasming. The knife is still locked in her grip. The knife, she's down. Her arms and legs are spasming. The knife is still... Yeah. Her arms and legs are spasming with the knife still locked in her grip. Okay, that's better. There's a lot of fucking changes right there to make that happen. Ooh, so here's an interesting point. Whether that should be definite article, the, as in there is a singular dark red hole above her eye, or a dark red hole above her eye. So this is I don't know this for certain, but I think something about having it as that indefinite article, a, makes it seem like a little bit weirdly less personal, like the whole versus a whole. Let's try both. The dark red hole above her eye is flowing like a tap. A dark red hole above her eye is flowing like... Oh yeah, definitely definite article. Boom. Look at Spethy picking up these points like crazy on this fucked up paragraph. All right, let's read through the whole thing. Blam! The 9mm retort seems almost puny against the shriek. The 9mm retort seems almost puny after that terrible shriek. The madwoman is so close Kaiser can see the muzzle flash in her eyes. Her face whips to the side in a spray of blood as she crashes to the wet concrete. She's down. Her arms and legs... Yeah, this is a new paragraph. She's down. Her arms and legs... The woman goes down. Her arms and legs are spasming, the knife still locked in her grip. Oh, yeah, now I can see why this is... why we had that definite article there. The woman goes down. Her arms and legs are spasming, with the knife still locked in her grip. Above her left eye, a dark red hole is flowing like a tap. Above her left eye, a dark red hole is flowing like a tap. From the blood pooling behind her, Kaiser knows the bullet has gone through. No, Kaiser mouths. Better. So much better. All right, I'm going to let you keep that point because I think that edit was in service of getting to there. Why did we make that change? Let's just listen to the way that it tracks now. The woman goes down. Her arms and legs are spasming with the knife still locked in her grip. Above her left eye, a dark red hole is flowing like a tap. From the blood pooling behind her, Kaiser knows the bullet has gone through. So that thing earlier where I was talking about how I want that hole to be like a little bit more ambiguous and it's like a little otherworldly that it's happening there. And just like the difference between A and the right there. And this is pure instinct. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but kind of instinctively, I think that I want it to be a hole and not the hole. And I think we just needed to shift around like this prepositional phrase above her left eye. Putting that in front of that lets us have a hole instead of the hole. And y'all know how much I'm a fan of a-holes. So, no, Kaiser mouths. The Glock slips from his hand. A frail whisk of blue smoke spirals from the barrel and dissipates the instant the gun clacks against the sidewalk. So this is a little excessive of a paragraph, but it's definitely something that I visualized when I was writing. If you look at the gun, this is an awful approximation. I should have just have a fucking revolver right here. So as like here's the barrel of the gun, it's going like spiraling down like that, end over end. That's what I wanted. So the Glock tumbles barrel over hammer as it slips from his hand. Cool. Yeah, we didn't like specify because that's like a very screenplay like visual, right? That's what I want people to see. I want the gun fucking slips from his hand and tumbles, and there's this little spiral of gun smoke coming out of it, and then it just hits the ground and poof. Um, this is a dream, Kaiser. This is a dream. Uh, this is a dream. This is a dream. So we can do that. Let's leave the slurring in the reader's imagination. This is a dream. Kaiser slurs in protest. Yeah, like I don't. I think it's real fucking clunky to write in slurs like that. This is a dream. Can we get away with this is a dream? Kaiser slurs in protest. Because he should be fucking slurring at this point. This guy's blackout drunk. This is a dream, Kaiser slurs in protest. Oh, I like that. So timing wise, it actually takes a while for adrenaline to wear out of your body. It's like kind of a long acting. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Spathy Wall. He says, I agree with the changes of that one. A-hole is technically correct because we haven't established where she was shot, but I like writing styles where some obvious things are not over-explained. I find it rewarding when a writer expects the reader to employ perception, but it's not easy to do one size fits all. Heinlein relied on reader perception too much. IMO, Grisham does it well. What you get with like a lot of Heinlein stuff is some of his stuff feels a little threadbare. All right, let's take a look at how long adrenaline lasts. How long does adrenaline take to wear off? 10 to 20 minutes. We're talking about anaphylactic shock. How long does the fight or flight reaction last? 20 minutes to completely calm down physiologically. Okay, yeah. Release of hormones. Yeah, 20 minutes when you feel fucking adrenaline. That's wild. Yeah, that tracks though. So it's not just the adrenaline wearing off. The adrenaline's all spent. I like that a little bit better than burned up. This is a dream, Kaiser slurs in protest. His adrenaline's all spent, and the adrenaline's all spent, and the whiskey in his veins is rushing in to take its place. His nose is stinging from burnt powder as he bends to pick up his weapon. Everyone is staring at him. There's an eerie silence on the street. It has to be a dream. This is a dream, Kaiser slurs in protest. Yo, idea. For the book on tape, let's have Dwayne read the part of Kaiser Duchance. Oh, Duchance is kind of French sounding. He could be Canadian. God, imagine having to corral Dwayne for this. I think I'd get about 3 lines in 10 days, and then he'd disappear for months. All right, what time we got? Oh, we still have half an hour on this. Can Dwayne boom, though? I don't know, man. I don't know. His fingers. This isn't happening. This isn't happening, Kaiser mumbles, praying it's true. Willing it to be true. His fingers close on the gun. It's slippery with blood. Slowly, people are finding their voices. There are shouts all around him. People are crying, "Oh my God," in at least 3 different languages. Kaiser clenches his eyes shut, but he can't seem to wake up. NYPD, drop the weapon, but it sounds like a prayer. All right, slippery with blood. Or slippery from blood. Oh yeah, with blood. That's good at it. Well, I like the nice thing is I can just like the cursor remains on Spaethiwa as we're getting these edits. Let's see. Was he close enough to get blood on the weapon? He's definitely. She's like at his feet. Yeah. The dead woman is inches from his feet. Hell yeah. Kaiser clenches his eyes shut and squeezes. Squeezes the pistol until the metal is digging into his palm, but he can't seem to wake up. There's no mention of blood spattering him. Well, it's fucking raining. Also, would blood spatter against him? Yeah. I think she's close enough. Oh yeah, we. Her face whips to the side in a crimson spray as she crashes to the wet concrete. Kaiser can't tell if it's blood or rain hitting him. Oh yeah, I like that better. Blood will be warm against the rain. Yeah. But not like little tiny drop. Like I don't know if you've ever had like blood fucking spray on you. But big drops of blood are like noticeably warm. Like those little flecks of fucking blood that you get from like shooting somebody like a little bit away, you can't feel whether they're warm or cold. Just FYI. It needs to be like he would need to have like big spots of blood before. Huh. Kaiser gets misted. It's too warm to be rain. Oh no, he's drunk as fuck. I like that he can't tell if it's blood or rain hitting him. Um, let's see. This does tie into the blood on the handle. A lot of blood in this scene. More is pooling on the sidewalk behind her. Kaiser knows the bullet has gone through. No, he mouths. The Glock tumbles barrel over hammer as it slips from his hand. A frail wisp of blue smoke spirals from the. It dissipates the instant the gun clacks against the sidewalk. This is a dream, Kaiser slurs in protest. The adrenaline's all spent and the whiskey in his veins is rushing in to fill the void. His nose is stinging from burnt powder as he bends to pick up his weapon. He's standing in the dead woman's blood. Everyone is staring at him. In the aftermath of the wail, the silence on the street is eerie and unnatural. This has to be a dream. Nah, let's take that out. This isn't happening, Kaiser mumbles, willing for it to be true. Praying he's right. It's slippery with her blood and warm from the shot. His fingers close on the gun. It's slippery with her blood and warm from the shot. Slowly, people are finding their voices. There are shouts all around him. People are crying, "Oh my God," in at least 3 different languages. Kaiser clenches his eyes shut and squeezes the pistol until metal is digging into his palm, but he can't seem to wake up. There's a cold and unfamiliar feeling rolling up his right arm, a pins and needles otherness. He feels like he's got a phantom ling. Like a phantom limb overlaid over his own arm. Ooh, I really like that change right there. Like a phantom limb for an arm that isn't missing. Like someone else pulled the trigger. Ooh, 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 that's so good. To me, you know, maybe somebody else doesn't think it's good, but I think that's a vast improvement. Yeah, that was a clunky line right there, but I like. What the fuck? His hands are raised in outrage. What the fuck? A tall man with a West African accent. Let's take out demands. What the fuck? So if you go down to Canal Street, by the way, you will see these West African dudes hanging out down there, selling fucking bandanas and scarves and hats and fake Gucci and shit like that. That's how they do. Shout out to my Nigerians. Oh. What the fuck? A tall man with a West African accent cries, his hands raised in outrage. A pregnant woman? The word comes out as woman. Kaiser recognizes. Other voices are joining, demanding answers. Kaiser tries to explain himself, but all that comes out is no, no, no. All that comes out is the word no, repeated over and over. Why the fuck is this kid out so late? Kaiser makes eye contact with the kid with the glasses. Carl, call for backup, Kaiser shouts, finally finding his voice. But Carl is gone. Literally gone. He must have run away. How the fuck can you run away from a shooting? That pussy-ass motherfucker. How the fuck can you run away from a shooting? Carl, you pussy-ass motherfucker. Kaiser blinks. He was certain Carl was here a second ago. Again, it feels like this must be some supremely fucked up dream. The black wave of otherness is thrumming at him. He lurches away from the dead woman and completes his original mission. By puking between two parked cars. Kaiser retches until he's afraid his throat's about to rip, but he can't get that black feeling out of him. On his hands and knees, a terrible certainty settles over Kaiser Juchance. This is something no one can ever forgive. Not the public, not Jesus, and certainly not the NYPD. Behind him, voices are twisting into something. Behind him, voices are twisting into mob ugly. The crowd is on the verge of rushing. Mob ugly. I don't know why, but I just like saying mob ugly. So somebody is going to complain about black feelings. If they do, they can just refer to Xan and Ink. God. This is why we don't have a big publisher. By the way, Big Spathy. Black feelings. You know, like, I don't care if you're white or black. You have had black feelings in your life. God damn. I don't think you have one fucking culture in the world where the color black isn't associated with negative emotion in some way, shape, or form. It seems fucking ubiquitous to me. Although I'm sure some sociologist, soy sipper, has commentary to the other. I mean, it may just be that there are cultures where black is like always a good thing. Huh. I'm interested, yeah. Color emotion associations and emotion-laden words. I mean, I can't learn fucking anything from some whites in Albany. Yeah, like what I'm looking for is like, I wonder if there are color and emotion across cultures. This is what we were looking for. Oh, these college students. This worthless blog spam. Wholly informed by English language publications, and therefore, like, yeah, well, that's what I'm looking for. Like, what it would really be interesting is like an anthropologist who was comparing, like, who had like a broader base of idea, because like the cultural significance of like the color purple, the color red, and so forth between here and China, vastly fucking different. They mean way different things between the two cultures. But I would almost caution a guess that black is almost no, because the study that they're rephrasing is just college students from Albany, like 98 kids from Albany. What would be interesting to me is like a broader cultural comparison by somebody who had like let me see there, ResearchGate. I think this is the same Albany study. Yeah, this is afraid source publication. Yeah. Okay, well, we have much more that I would like to get through. Let's look at synonyms for waffles while we're at it right there. It's the same fucking study. On his hands and knees, a terrible... Oh, yeah. As he kneels on the pavement, a terrible certainty settles over. Kneeling on the pavement with the world spinning around him, a terrible certainty settles over Kaiser Duchance. This is something no one can ever forgive. Not the public, not Jesus, and certainly not the NYPD. Behind him, voices are growing angry and twisted. Behind him, and so that's prepositional. Behind him, voices are growing. Behind him, voices are becoming angry and twisted. Mob ugly. Behind him, the voices are twisting into anger. Mob ugly. The crowd is on the verge of rushing Kaiser and tearing him to pieces. There we go. Cool. Kaiser rises to his feet. Kaiser rises unsteadily to his feet. Unsteadily. Oh, see, is there a better way than using a fucking adverb there? Ugly and angry. Yeah, we can't use mob ugly. Twisting into ugly mob anger. Oh, yeah. Mob ugly anger. Mob ugly anger. That's a just fucking saying that sounds weird. Mob ugly anger. I want to keep mob ugly, so I'm going to take that, and we're going to give Spathy a point for his noble contribution right there. 24. How will Logic ever catch up? Well, there's going to be some morning where you're not here, and maybe Logic is here. I have seen it in the future. Behind him, the voices have begun to turn, twisting into mob ugly anger. The crowd is on the verge of rushing Kaiser and tearing him to pieces. Anger shouldn't be... No, anger isn't hyphenated. Oh, yeah, you're 30 seconds behind. That's fine. Behind him, the voices have begun to turn mob ugly, twisting into anger. The crowd is on the verge of rushing Kaiser and tearing him to pieces. What do I want? Unsteady. Erratic, precarious. Teetering just sounds too much like a fucking carnival. Kaiser barely manages to rise to his feet. I've half a mind to try. He's got half a mind to save them the trouble and eat his gun. The other half is a cornered rat. That's a good change right there. That he's, the other half is a cornered rat, scared enough to open fire on the crowd, to do anything to get out alive. Unsteady verb. Kaiser, unsteady. Kaiser barely manages to rise to his feet. Kaiser manages to rise. Yeah. Kaiser struggles to get upright. He's got half a mind to save them the trouble and yeah, so facing the mob. Facing the mob, he's got half a mind to save them the trouble and eat his gun. The other half is a cornered rat, scared enough to open fire. Scared enough to open fire on the crowd, to do anything to get out alive. Yeah, I don't like, I'm not thrilled. The other half is a cornered rat, scared enough to do anything to get out alive, even open fire on the crowd. No, I don't like that change. To do anything to get out alive. Yeah. The other half is a cornered rat, scared enough to open fire on the crowd. Anything to get out alive. Mm-hmm. The other half is a cornered rat, scared enough to open fire on a crowd. Anything to get out alive. The people on the sidewalk can see it. The people on the sidewalk can see it in his face. There's something in Kaiser they don't want any part of, and one by one they turn away and begin to flee. In 2 seconds, there are people scattering in every direction, running for their lives. Oh, this is way better, yeah. Kaiser wants to run too, but he's stuck. He sees the curly mop of red hair disappearing around the corner. Kaiser wants to run too, but he's stuck. The kid is still staring at him. Boom. Boom. Much improved. Oh, that is so much better, this paragraph. Really putting in the fucking work here. Okay, so Kaiser wants to run too, but he's stuck. Against the steel shutter, the red-haired kid is still staring at him. He witnessed the whole scene. A scene is wrong here. Kaiser needs him bad. Kaiser needs him badly. But when the kid meets his eyes, he snaps out of his trance and bolts. Kaiser needs him badly, but when their eyes meet, the kid snaps out of his trance and bolts. No chance Kaiser can give chase. He can barely stand. He can only watch the mop of curly hair disappearing around the corner. For a second, the light catches on the silver clip of a kippa. Shout out to young Shapiro right there. Kaiser realizes he forgot to check the woman for her pulse. It's way too late now, but he does it anyway. There's nothing, and she's already getting cold. Sirens are drawing close. If he wants to make a dramatic exit, now is the time. Kaiser Duchance considers his pistol. Exit should have a comma ever. Boom. That's absolutely right. Boom. All right, what do we got here? Get a couple of Command S's up in this motherfucker. He reaches into his bulletproof vest instead. When the other police arrive, he's in the passenger seat of the patrol car, polishing off the bottle. Oof. 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 Gangsta fucking scene. So I will tell you, is a brand new scene. Kaiser Duchance is a new addition to this novel. I don't know if you read the novel before, but he is much improved over the original character who was called the Man in Gray, as you might suspect, like a character that's just named the Man in Gray to be a little bit threadbare. Okay, what time is it? It's 9:05. Do we really? How many pages do we have to do? So it's page 29. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages. If we want to do 6 pages, then most likely what we need to do is come back and do a second edit later today. All right, so let me see if I've got that strength. Yeah, I remember. Oh, the arcade scene was completely cut from this, by the way. Yeah, like all kinds of shit got cut. But yeah, that's no more. Although there's a replacement arcade scene. Because, we got to get that Street Fighter into our novel. Okay, so we're at page 29, which means that we've been doing 10 pages a day, roughly. So that's not too bad. I don't like that we did the thing. All right, so I'm going to, 1 hour and 49 minutes streamed. All right, cool. So let's see how many words we got. I mean, they're the exact same number of words that we got yesterday. If I were, yeah, what am I fucking doing here? I don't need to do this. Because we edited the exact same sequence from yesterday. Okay. But I think qualitatively, that was a super valuable thing. I think just basically any of the scenes that are totally new, and 149. Good to know it was cut because I stopped reading after that one. You can read the original one if you want, but yeah, like we'll do like a compare between the rough draft of the original and where this one is at. Because yeah, it wasn't great. I mean, it was okay. It was the best that I could do at the time. All right, so Spaethiwa is galloping ahead to the lead by virtue of being here when nobody else is. So there's a non-zero chance that I will, after I take a bike ride and do some other shit today, we'll come back and try to do a second editing here, because I do want to get through that chapter. If we do 6 more pages, I'd like to be close to about 20 pages a day as we're working on this. So we're not getting, as of today, we've done 0. So if I get it up to 6, we can improve a little bit. And I think I'll have the energy later. All right, so yeah, thank you, Spaethiwa. And some other people are watching, but you're silent. So shout outs also to, if you're silent, you just have this going on in the background while you're fucking fixing an engine or jacking off or answering your email. Shout outs to you too. You're just as valuable, just much less valuable. All right, later everybody. Maybe another stream today, but I never promise more than one stream a day.